People do find my videos on gang stalking to be quite interesting, or at least that's what the views say. However, I wanted to deal with two aspects of my unique situation that took place on YouTube, which thankfully has died down to virtually nothing, which is interesting because it's after my Facebook profile got taken down so I can stop. What it was it seems what was happening on YouTube was a direct result of my truth-telling regarding my former employer. The more I would do things to that employer by exposing them for the horrible place of employment they are, their lack of desire to maintain a safe work environment for their employees or for their clients, because this is the thing. You have to remember, in mental health, the safety of the employee is important, but so is the safety of the consumer. And that was a big thing. I did not like that when I worked there. They did not take into consideration the safety of the employees or the consumers, and they just weren't very good. They're not a very good place. But what I did notice was the more I would post about this employer on Facebook, the more I would get harassed on YouTube, which seemed to revolve around a friend of mine from Argentina. And the reason why, I think, is because my former employer, they know that I'm a very simplistic person. I don't really do much. And they knew that this person was my last shot, or at least at the time what I considered my last shot of getting the heck out of this part of my life and starting a new life in a new place, and fixing what I perceive as just a very negative life I have in the United States. And I know they know this because the one person that I thought I could trust, which was somebody I knew since I was 10 years old that works there, who was responsible for helping me get the job, it seems like they're the one. It's ridiculous, and this is where I'm going to get into this. There's a guy named Vankin, who is an Israeli psychology professor and physicist that teaches psychology in Russia. And he makes excellent videos on narcissism. In fact, he does some of the best. His name's Sam Vankin, and he makes the best videos on narcissistic abuse and psychology in general, I would say. I would say it's a toss-up between him and Dr. Grande, between who I think is making the most accurate depictions of mental health and behavioral health and things of that nature from the psychological standpoint. So what I want to point out is he made a video called Exposing the Narcissist's Hidden Speech. And that was what a lot of this was in the comments section of my YouTube videos, is they would implant certain words and certain events and references to certain events that only me, and this is what threw me off and what made me think it was my friend from Argentina, because it revolved around certain things I had told her. However, the person making or persons, people making the comments, really slipped up because they started really going after me about my work and things that had happened at work and things. Okay, so that's what gave them away. But also what gave them away was the fact that I'm getting off of conversations with my friend that worked there, and they're immediately repeating what I'm saying over the phone to this dude. Which originally, because I did not think this person could betray me, although I was very, 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 very wrong. Because they're either this person did not betray me, and this is somebody he thinks he can trust, that he's disclosing what I'm saying to, or it's somebody that he knows, or it's him himself repeating these things. Now, that's the thing, is the hidden speech of the narcissist is very interesting because it's something that only you can perceive. And then when you go and tell people, they think you're frickin' crazy because it sounds crazy. That was my biggest part. My biggest issue with the whole gang stalking thing was that it sounds so insane that anybody would target anyone like this, but that's because somebody like me wouldn't do that. And I used to have a saying when I worked in mental health. I used to tell my clients that, or actually my coworkers too, but my clients, I said, when they said, I just don't understand so and so. And I would say, that's good. When you start to understand crazy people, that's a sign that you're crazy. And that's the thing, is it's very difficult to understand a narcissistic mindset or the mindset of an abuser if that's not your mindset, if that's not your innate being. It is very hard to understand someone who is like that, because that's not what you're thinking. That's not how you think. That's not how you process interpersonal relationships. However, that is how people like this process interpersonal relationships. And that's why it can be almost impossible to understand, and why it was so hard for me to wrap my head around what was going on, because I'm like, this just sounds really freaking nuts. And it is, from a normal person's mindset, it is crazy. More importantly, I want to get into more at length the concept of psychotronic weapons, which I do not believe that that's what's going on. However, what happens is, from constant stress, which is what this is, this whole gang stalking thing, they try to drive people to suicide or drive people to self-destruction. Luckily with me, there's not much lower I can go. But what it is through the constant stress, lack of sleep, improper diet, things of this nature that go with the narcissistic abuse, it causes imbalances in glucocorticoid steroids and things of this and things of this nature, which cause reactions like dizziness, panic, heart palpitations, worsening of asthma, things of that nature. Now this is, and I'm going to leave videos, links to this stuff, and that is what did happen to me over the course of the past, I'd say, decade, since I was fired in 2013. And my mental health went out the window when I worked there, because it was constant. I'd be harassed on the phone if I was in the, I worked, I was a mobile person. I worked in the field, so I'd be driving clients, to community events, help them integrate into the community, take them to the mall, take them to the library. A lot of the people I worked with were very severely mentally challenged, very low IQ folks, and severe drug addicts in recovery, things of that nature. So I would take them into the community and things of that nature, and some of them, like some of the very bad off people, maybe going to the library 2 or 3 times a week. That was the thing that they needed to be doing to improve their functionality. But in the meantime, while I'm transporting people here and there, I'm getting calls from my supervisors asking, where am I, what's going on, blah, 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 just crazy crap. And then I'm getting reamed out at the work because my supervisors don't understand travel time, or they don't, like, well, how were you 15 minutes late to your next appointment? Well, it's because you make me schedule the appointments back to back, and there's a thing called traffic. But ultimately, that's when I started developing severe heart palpitations. As I said, I've always had some degree of heart palpitations that were undiagnosed for a while, but later were diagnosed as tachycardia. But it got very bad while I was working at this organization. So, long story short, my relationship was not the greatest either. I was in a very turbulent relationship at the time also, which did not help with my ability. It was a high stress relationship, a personal relationship, not a professional relationship. So after I got fired, Then this stuff starts literally as soon as I started talking to this chick in Argentina, I start getting harassment. One of the first things was a person commented under one of her comments on one of my videos, explaining to her that I'm, a horrible, rotten, evil person, and that I'm stay away from me because I'm a racist psycho, I think was the term. I guess because they took a look at her, saw that she looked like Pocahontas, and decided, oh, well, this chick probably hates white people. Let's push this. Let's see if we can push her away from him by saying these things. And they acknowledged that they were my employer, which was, they said they were my former supervisor. Then when I questioned them as to which supervisor and started naming names, they deleted the comment and told me I was crazy and they didn't know what I was talking about. These are all games played by these people on the social media sites. And the thing is, what's interesting is they don't understand this is all saved forever in the ether that is the internet. Now, years later, the same thing happened. And I did start thinking it was my friend from Argentina, my former friend. I think that I should probably start calling her my former friend because she is not talking to me, probably because she thinks I'm bananas. Not as bad as the Gwen Stefani song, but I'm pretty far gone, she probably thinks. So, everything combined, especially with the poor diet, because I was trying that starch solution diet, which was very low in fat, which messes up your ability to manufacture certain necessary hormones. So what happened is, due to the hormonal imbalance with the diet, combined with the high stress, combined with the what really did me in was when I couldn't exercise 3 to 6 hours every day. That's what did me in, because I think that was the only thing keeping my body well. And that's when I started developing the severe panic disorder. I actually did reach the point where I started thinking I was going psychotic. I really did. But that's the goal of these people, is to make you believe that you're losing your mind. And they succeeded for a while, I will say that. But not completely, because I know what reality is, and that was the thing. You can't tell me. And this is the thing, my friend, my so-called friend, was gaslighting the hell out of me, trying to convince me that I didn't know what I was talking about, that everybody there likes me, even though I know from people that were actively working there about how much that place hates me, how they hold meetings to destroy me. And this is just one guy. And that's when I started looking into the gang stalking and the whistleblowing and how whistleblowers are taken care of with this and things of that nature. I started understanding what was really going on. And it's a real shame because no matter what, I'm stuck going to Argentina once the COVID breaks because I was stupid enough to buy a ticket. But essentially, I will be going to Ecuador, is where I should be settling, I think, is in Ecuador. But the thing is, and that plays to the to my benefit anyway, because honestly, my friend, even though I do care a great deal for my friend in Argentina, it was very stressful to try and communicate with her due to her own personal issues. And also, I like mestizas better than castizas. And furthermore, what's even better is, the age of consent is much lower in Ecuador, too. But ultimately, what's funny about it is this. What's interesting is, despite all this, I'm doing much better. I'm doing better. They alienated my friend, but honestly, what's interesting about that actually reduced the stress in my life. So it's kind of funny about that. I mean, I do care a lot about that girl. I do miss her. I miss the conversations we had and things of that nature. But ultimately, that reduced the stress in my life. Now, and because they made so many mistakes mentioning my work and things that only me and my friend would know, I'm pretty sure I know who this is. And I would name names, except I think the person is a relative of my friend, that used to work there, or that does work there, I should say, and that was gaslighting the hell out of me. And despite what he thinks, I would never do anything to out him or out any member of his family. But it seems to me that whoever is pulling this crap, especially due to the last few comments, is somebody very close to him that he is either confiding in, or that can hear the conversations I'm having with him. One of the funnier things was when they, whoever it is, has access to everyone's personnel file, which I thought was hilarious because what they forgot to mention, I had a friend that worked there, who I'll say is, I don't want to do that. His family might not like that, but I had a friend that worked there that I met because as a child he worked in a hospital that I was in. And he remembered me from the hospital. And what was funny is, I know that. He knew that, but he's dead. He died of brain cancer. But the person commenting in my videos also knew that. So obviously it's not your everyday person. And this is that coded speech that this Vankin guy, this Sam Vankin guy talks about, that you have to be able to understand, which makes you sound nuts. But not many people know, and the wording was, oh, that orderly Ted, oh, there, I said his name. But, okay, so that orderly really did a number on your brain or on your head or something like that. Well, Ted's only a first name. People aren't going to find him. And I didn't give the organization away. But my point is, they knew that I knew a person that was, and he wasn't an orderly because that's not the correct name. This is the thing. They fake a British accent. They fake Britishisms. They fake Spanish. Their Spanish is so terrible it's ridiculous. Their English is terrible. And the only people I know with both terrible Spanish and terrible English would be people that work at this place because of their low standards of employment and the fact that everybody that works at the top probably has an IQ in the high 80s. So my point being that there was so much coded speech, so many things being stated that only me and my friend would know, and other people and that's why I thought my phone was bugged. But I don't think my phone was bugged, because why would it only be conversations between him and me and not other conversations I had with other people? Because I have much, much, much juicier conversations on this phone with other people than I do with him. And you would think that they would be bringing up those things, but no, they're bringing up things that he knows about my ex-girlfriend, about the torment of my ex-girlfriend that she put me through, and that's not her fault. I was stupid enough to stay in that relationship, okay? And about the situation with her going into cardiac arrest and having to be resuscitated 3 times, and me having to take care of her for months and months and months and months and months and months, which is something I did not want to do. And they knew that. They knew about my relationship with my negative view towards certain people in her life that other people don't know. Okay? So these are things that would only be mentioned between me and this one person. And that's how they gave away who they were. Now, I hope, beyond hope, that it's not this person. I used to respect this person, but clearly I wouldn't anymore. I've lost respect for the fact that he gaslighted the hell out of me by trying to make me believe that, I didn't know what I was talking about, and he tried to further the game of making me think I was crazy, probably because he doesn't want to tell me, yeah, it's this person. Okay, and that's the whole thing. I'm pretty sure I get where he's going, or why he's doing this is because he has too much to lose. But what he doesn't understand, I don't give a damn anymore. I'm not a violent person anymore. I don't hurt anybody. I'm just trying to get the hell out of this country and stay the hell out of this country once everything goes back to normal. I don't want anything to do with this country. I'm just trying to leave. So my point is, all these people, and what's funny is he's still terrified of me. I can tell because he stutters sometimes when I get him nervous. because he knows the level of violence that I was capable of. Not saying I'm not still capable of that same level of violence, but I'm not somebody that participates in violence anymore. That's not who I am anymore. I'm not that person anymore. And that's what's funny, is all this nonsense, the secret code of the narcissist hath been broken. And that's the thing. But I'm also going to put a link to the psychologist that states about her treatment of clients with the issues with the glucocorticoids and how the worsening of physical health and the decline of physical health the longer you're in a narcissistic relationship. And that's the deal, man. That's the deal. Is this belief that people are using psychotronic weapons is not real. That's not real. What is real is that this high stress living hell that these people try to put people through causes the decline in mental health, causes the situations to develop with the heart palpitations, the worsening of asthma, the paranoia, things of that nature. That's what's going on. It's not psychotronic weapons. It's torture is what it is. And that's all for this video.